And so I am ready. I am ready to thrive. I am ready to bloom. I am ready to be different. And did you realize, Coach, that I am rare?
Man, that is a one heck of a. Hold on, let me do the real stuff. You got to get them two snaps and some fingers. Hey, you seen that poetry? I thought I was back listening to Lorenz Tate back in the day, girl.
Very much so. Very much so. And of course, say, can I be your whatever? We ain't doing the Love
Right,
Jones situation. Plus, I ain't trying to do no copyright strikes either. We ain't doing
right,
that either.
right, right,
We
right.
good. But oh my
Hey,
gosh,
I like that. That was good though, man. That was real good.
it's another edition of Interludes Extra presents Talk on Tuesdays. We're excited. We now have not only one but two guests that we're bringing to the stage because new music is happening for Women's History Month, Women's International Day. Oh my gosh, it's a great way to wrap up with a friend to the show and recording artist JP Psalms. We
Yes.
will get to her and our other special guests right after this. It's another edition of Interlude Section Presents Talk on Tuesdays. We're excited to have you back for our entertainment show. We are back and live in the chat. And of course, I got a chance to write a book. It's called A DJ Saved My Life. What? It is personal memoir and also the ABCs of starting your own podcast. Please go to purelighthouse.media.com or scan the QR code for more information. Coach, I am so happy to announce this. Our patreon.com/interludes, where there's behind the scenes. I'm probably going to do a behind the scenes video with our guest today. We have our first paying Patreon member that came on today. We are excited. We are excited.
Yeah, we keep it. Woo, 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 woo.
So if you want to join there, of course you get some material for free, but then of course the one who pays, you see more stuff that happens. And of course, I am now uploading my comedy routines that I've done stand-up comedy over the last couple of years, and I'm getting ready to get back out there to
Man,
Cincinnati. So
what?
I think that's
I need to be the opening actor, warm everybody up.
oh my gosh. So it is exciting. It is exciting. And I'm so sorry. I meant to say JP Psalm. Not I didn't want to make that plural, but we'll get to that and do that correction later. And of course, our affiliate sponsor is KeySpot. Possibly the reason why I'll be able to do a little bit more. Share, connect, and grow. Of course, if you have a small business that you would like to get marketed on the KeySpot app, please go ahead, join and register your business for free, only $15 a month. And of course, when you register and you let people know about how you found out through Interludes, of course, it's our affiliate sponsor. That's Cynthia McAllister, who also helped redesign our fully loaded website, purelighthouse.media.com. And now, of course, we're here with the coach. Oh my
$15.
goodness.
$15. Y'all go spend more money at Starbucks. Come on, $15. Hey, and a word of Marlon with 15 jeans can get you something.
Of course, of course, of course. Oh my gosh. So I have to say, over the weekend, I got a chance to take care of some things. I want to say I got some power walking in. I am almost at
Okay.
21 days. No, I'm sorry, 25 days of doing 10,000 steps. This is major.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm
Mhm.
almost at 25 days doing 100 steps and I'm tired. So I applaud you.
Oh my goodness. Well, We are excited again because we want to make sure that we let you guys know that what March is Women's History Month.
There you
And
go.
we have not one, but two phenomenal women that is making history and creating, I want to call it an indelible mark in music. It's about inspiring and being, I want to call it empowered. We invited our guests here probably a little under a year ago, and Coach was trying to bond and do. Were you trying to do a house music track with JB?
Hey,
I think you were trying
man,
to do a
I
house music
loved
track.
her voice. I loved her
Mhm.
cadence and the gospel track she had. And at that time, for you all, Coach Tony being in that gospel music on the house side of it. I love it. I'm
Mhm.
a big house guy. But, me and Jay, we talked and to listen to her lyrics and her voice. And I thought, man, it'd be perfect to collab with someone like this, Val. And now I got to get my part together. I got to get it together.
You gotta get your producing thing in. So
Yeah,
of course, this is, I like to call it, the allowing God to tap on your shoulder and say, I would love for you to empower the world with your voice, with your lyrics and your voice.
I like
And
that.
of course, she got a chance to tune in with an actress and singer. I think originally from, she'll let us know where she's originally from. I want to say she's from New York, but I think it's Detroit. Yeah, I see her nodding. So it's Detroit. But ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Bermuda, it is Janita Burke, better known as JB Song. How you doing, JB? In the building. There
That's
she
how we
is.
gotta bring them live. Jay, what's up, girl?
What's up? What's
Man,
up,
I love you.
to lose family?
Man. Hey, we about to tone it down. I don't think Val can keep up minding your energy.
No,
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 no.
no.
Val's got it. Val's got it. She cool. She cool.
And all the way on the East Coast, I would like to say she's actually in my I want to call it my second hometown. We want to bring
Okay.
to the stage singer and actress Tiffany Thompson. How
My
you
kinfolk,
doing,
my kinfolk,
Tiffany?
them Thompsons, them Thompsons.
Hi.
I'm sorry, I got Michelle Thompson. I got confused.
Oh,
I
it's
meant to say
okay.
Tiffany.
That's my middle name, so it's totally
Tiffany
fine.
Michelle
Right,
Thompson.
right. TMT.
Michelle.
Hey, we gonna blow it up.
Oh my goodness. And of course, we got some people in the building saying, hey, JB.
Hey, Leah Dean.
Right with Dr.
Hello.
Crystal. Dr. Crystal, what's up? She said, hey, JP.
Woo, woo, woo. All right, Roger.
Oh
What's
my
up,
gosh.
Dr. Crystal
You got
K?
Leah also checking in with you too, Jay. Leah D said, hello, hey, what's
Yeah.
up? Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So I have to ask this question because I am what I call it, inspired by what JB had I want to call it a milestone birthday this month, Coach Tony. She had a
Okay.
milestone birthday.
Mhm.
And what happened, she decided she's been working on this music for how long? 6 months? A year? How long have you been working on the music, Janita?
Well, I'm going to say for Thrive, I wrote that song uh 4 years ago.
Oh, wow.
4?
And
Oh,
every other song I wrote weeks to months ago. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And here's the thing. It's the be empower her. Is that it? Am I saying that
Empowered.
right?
Empowered, but
Empowered.
it's just focusing on the her in empowered. Hmm.
I like that.
Right. Do
Yeah.
you like that concept, Coach? Like I see
I,
that.
I love it is because, again, like I talk to these guys on my show on a pull up. Women are right now on a different trajectory. I mean that. Well, I don't care if it's in business, and you see the top 50 who to know in business, music, entertainment, sports. Women are on a different level right now, and I like that. Be empowered because it's like we're going to be empowered, but it's, you know, it's like, you get this, guys. It's like, tell his story, but make sure it's history.
Yeah. And we got a chance, Coach, on the House of Creativity to feature the very first song, Rare.
Yep.
And that's the song that came out the first weekend of March. Tell us about Rare. I think the one thing that I thought about when I heard Rare, it was these encouraging lyrics that made me feel seen by God and also loved and appreciated by God. But what was your reason for writing and doing that particular song?
So on the 29th of December, 2024, I was getting ready to go out to dinner, and I picked up my Rare handbag. Do you see it in the background there? I put it on my shelf for you to see it there. You see it?
I see it. I see it.
All right, awesome. So I had bought that at a conference that I had been at earlier in the year. And as I walked, I picked up the bag. I said, oh, I'm going to use my Rare purse. And I walked out and I just heard the Holy Spirit say, you are rare. And then I started to get the download. I started to hear the music and I started to hear the lyrics. And the first one was reality. Reality has sunk in that there's no one else with spunk and loves like you, right? And so that was the first part of it. And then A was accepting of my greatness and every area that needs improvement to be the best that I can be. Resolute in my pursuit of purpose and my King, enough and even more than in his image God gave me. That's what came out like right there. And that was it's an acronym for Rare, reality, accepting, a reflection, or resolute, and I'm enough. And he then, and then he gave me the chorus. I am rare. And I was just so excited. I'm like trying to get this thing in my phone. I'm late for my dinner with my girls, but I just had to get the download, right? So I got the first part and then I went off to dinner and had dinner. And then on the 31st of December, just before I was getting ready to go to a church, he finished the rest of the song. And, he had told me that this year he wanted me to release songs of empowerment for his daughters. He really wanted us to know who we are and whose we are. That he wanted us to know that although culture might be telling us a different thing, although there might have been, there might have been, it may seem that there's a retraction of women's rights or, whatever it is, he wanted us to know that we are rare. And, and he went on as he was telling me about this rareness, because sometimes as women, when we mess up, we think that it's all over, right? But he said, when something is rare, the owner of that thing recognizes its value, notwithstanding that it might be stained or spoiled or ripped, and goes through an extensive and expensive restoration process to restore it back to its original form, and sometimes even better, right? And so he wanted us to know that we are rare, we're uncommon, and we're unique. And that in this season, we have to own it and declare it and walk in it. And so this was the song that he gave. And Val had shared that it was a significant birthday for me. The 20th anniversary of my 30th was on March 9th. You go ahead, do the math. And yeah. Okay, I entered the 5th floor. Praise the Lord. Fifth floor. And on March 9th, I had purposed, which is International Women's Weekend, that would be my stepping into song, and it will be a song that I released to women everywhere to remind them that they are rare, uncommon, and unique.
Oh, that's let me ask you guys. When you're walking around, for you and Tiff, and you're trying, of course, obviously you don't know, hey, I'm going to make this song and it's going to be a smash. But for you and Tiffany both, when you're walking around and you're trying to put that one hit together, or maybe that one song that your entire body, spirit, everything just move you, are you writing notes down on a piece of papers? Is it in your head? Are you taking notes on your phone? Let me get back. How are you piecing together the words that you really want to get across to the masses? And then when you hit that studio, it all comes together. What's the process that you guys, go through sometime to make those hit records?
Well, Coach, for me, my focus isn't on a hit, right? My focus is on being impactful,
Okay.
on being inspirational, and really, I mean, this songwriting career is a gift. It's a gift from God. I am God's scribe, and so I really can't take a whole lot of credit for what comes through. I'm the conduit, right? And I mean, of course, I'm available, and so and God is working with my own experiences as well. A lot of those things may come through, but it really is. It's just like that. I'm taking up the press, and as I go through the door, it's you are rare, and it's a download. It's coming. I've got to get. For me, it's not writing down. It's my phone. I get my phone out and I sing into my phone what I hear, right? And I have to do that because if I don't get it right away, I lose it, and I have to like beg God, Lord, please bring it back. If I'm sleeping, I cannot be too lazy to I've got to get up and get the phone. And once because I told you I wrote this in two parts. He gave me the first part, and then I went to dinner, and then I came back to the song on the 31st, and he gave me the second part. So that's that's for me. I sometimes, if I hear the music, sometimes I'm trying to sing the saxophone part or whatever instrumentation I hear in the song.
Right.
I'm telling you got to give it up to my producers because they have to listen to to my
that,
voice
right.
notes. And it's also, but they get it, and that's how it does. But Tiffany, please share your experience and your process.
Well, it definitely is a process. I actually sleep with a notepad and a pen by my bed. And I actually have a voice recorder. I believe every songwriter, artist, creative has that on their phone. It's like an app, all kinds of apps. And like Janita's right, once you have it, like if you get a melody in your head and you waste time, I don't know, like if it goes away, it goes away. Like it doesn't come back for me, never comes back. And especially if it's there and it's profound and it's deep. And especially if songwriting is a gift, it's a gift from God. And if it's from God, you want to record it right away, because it's no guarantee that same melody is going to come back.
Right.
And in that same order. So you definitely want to get that down right away. And there's no room for like laziness. There's no room for fear. There's no room for like second guessing. You just got to get that down. If you were to see my voice note recorder, I can't even tell you how many, like I have maybe 50 seconds. Sometimes I have 2 minutes, 3 minutes, because that's how it comes to me. It's just, that's just how it comes. So.
Yeah,
that's
and
my
I think that's exciting when we're able to, I guess, tap into God's. I call it the God spot, where it's Him letting us know that I want you to create something. Now, no, and you can't sleep, or you can't do something else, because He's tapping you on the shoulder, like, no, let's get this written down. And it has been told to me, even with being a writer, that Val, make sure that you have a pen and paper or something right by, so that you can write this stuff down as it comes to you. Because if you lose it, oh my gosh.
You start, in the words of Martin Lawrence, go start from scratch.
So I think what we're going to do, if I can do this with permission, is to play the first minute of the first song that was released during the milestone birthday weekend for Janita. It is called Rare, and I want to make sure that I bring it up so we can take a listen to it. It's a little bit of a listening party that we're going to have, and this is the first one called Rare. Let's take a listen. Can you guys hear it? Where?
I'm coming and you leave. I'm coming and you leave. Reality has sunk in that there's no one earth with funkin' loves like me. Accepting of my greatness in every area that needs improvement. Be the best that I can be. Resolute in my pursuit of purpose and my king. Enough and even more than in his image God made me. I am ready. I am ready. I am ready. I'm coming and you need. I'm coming and you need.
So I just wanted to do 1 minute of it because, of course, if you want more of that great music,
they gave me that. You my darling, darling baby. Dun, 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 dun. You are my sweet and tender love. Hey, don't give me. Hey, that's the first thing I thought of that beat. And when you came in, I was listening to that earlier today, and I'm like, I love what JB got. And you don't know this because you weren't with me. So I dropped that track today that you had in one of my. And my boys was messing around this afternoon. I dropped that track in one of my house sets and blended it in with something. And they were like, oh, okay. Let's see how you're doing it. And it was perfect. So
yeah, and in the chat it says this is Leah Dean. She says, "Love that you both honor those downloads with urgency and intention. That's always important." And then, of course, Thrive with Crystal, Dr. Crystal. She says, "Thanks for sharing the songwriting process. Very enlightening." I noticed, Janita, when you were listening to it, what comes to mind when you hear the song, and does it take you back to when you started, creating and the creating process, or does it you go into the lyrics? Because my favorite line, "I'm resolute in my pursuit." I was like, I can't believe the girl rhymed and resolved in pursuing the Lord and other great things because I was rare. What?
I know. Listen, I think it's a good place to be. I am always in awe when I listen to the songs, and I just say, wow, God, you wrote that through me, but yeah, I mean, I do like this song. I do like this song. I am singing on this song. I didn't want to sing on this song, but it's my birthday song, and so I was coerced and almost beaten up, to kind of do it by my co-singer Yinka from Nigeria. So I did it. But yes, I mean, when I think about it, I just think about really what Daddy is saying about his daughters, and I think about where we have to be, because I like the acronym that he has given us. I like the second verse, Val. It says, "I'm nobody's imitation, a divine and planned creation. Yes, that's me. Not on earth to be liked, make mistakes and learn from hindsight. My superpower is humility." Right? And know that it is not okay to treat this rare queen anyway. I have a mind, a voice. I won't be silenced. Let me state, I am rare. I mean, I'm just, but that's God. That's God. That's his instruction to us. Like, you are a rare queen. You have something of value. You have something to say. You are not an imitation. You are a divine and planned creation. There's nobody like you. There's no duplicates of you. One of a kind. You're the real deal, baby.
I like that. I like and Tiffany, you said something kind of unique because I know I was watching, again on the opposite genre, getting into everything, DJing and watching my nephew put stuff together. And you're right. He walked around the house with no pass and doing this little thing. And I said, dude, there's a little note on your phone called Notepad. If you just open that up, you can write your same notes and never worry about, if you can read them. And maybe one night you're so tired you can't read your writing, you can type it and you're going to read everything. And the good thing about the little notepad is that you can email it to yourself if need be and all that. Do you find yourself like walking around throughout your day, whether it be shopping, working, whatever, humming a tune in your head and doing something and say, oh, wait 1 second, I got to jot that down. And that's how you kind of come up with the songs you get?
Yes, actually, I would do that all the time. I would be on my way when my daughter was on my way to school. I would have, or a melody would pop in my head, and immediately I would pull out my phone and I would, on my way, run to the bus, literally, I'm not making this up, and I would be singing this melody in the voice recorder while running, trying to catch the
bus. Mama and your daughter like, come on, mama, I'm at the bus.
Yeah, at this time she was like maybe middle school or whatnot, but it just because I've done it before where I did not do that and I could not remember the melody. I could not remember, and I just said, nope, I'm not doing it anymore. This is not guaranteed. Tomorrow's not promised. This could be, like Janita said, it's not about a hit song. It's great if it's a hit. It's more about impact. So who knows? Someone's going to hear this song and this could be a song of deliverance for them. This could be a song where it's going to be a breakthrough. Like when I sang Thrive, a lot of those lyrics, Janita does not know this. It was deliverance for me. They really ministered to me in a way of like, okay, this is your time to thrive, So yep, that's what I do. Sing it. And I don't care what I'm doing. Like I would have my headphones in my ear. And I mean, we're in New York, even though I'm from Detroit, I spend a lot of my time in New York, and a lot of people walk around talking to themselves anyway. And I mean, I'm like humming, singing, and I don't care. It's like, I got to get it out. And that's my creative process. And it really doesn't matter what people think, because I got to get it out,
That's good. And Tony, keep checking in, Val.
Oh yeah, and Tony, if you see, I went to your Facebook page, Tiffany.
She brought a guitar out on us, Val. She bam.
So I think this is probably what inspired the collaboration. When people see that, I think you did a challenge, I think, one of these months. Was it for singing or was it for walking? I forgot. You did a challenge for about 30 days or something. I forgot, and I was keeping up with it for a little bit, and it was like, okay, Tiffany, because you wanted to kind of encourage us, but you were like, I'm going to come every day and I'm going to do this. What was that? Was it singing or was it something else? I forgot.
No, it wasn't singing. It was a jump rope challenge.
That's what it was.
I'm going to hear about that. What was the challenge?
It was just like a jump rope challenge. It was totally different. It was for my daughter because she has a health issue, and I was doing it for not only for her, but people who was dealing with that same issue around the world. So it didn't really have anything to do with singing or the creative process. But yeah, it was a challenge.
And so back to the lyrics for Rare. So I have to say, Janita, a lot of people don't realize, and especially women, we don't realize how, I want to call it, fearfully and wonderfully made we are. And I feel like Rare is that song that taps into the scriptural tell that God lets everyone know, women and men, that you are special. I knitted you in your mother's womb, and your fingerprints are unique. Your hair on your head is unique. Now, if you decide to switch it up with a wig, that's on you. But everything about you is unique and different. And so these are powerful, powerful lyrics. And so I have to say, Janita, thank you. And many folks who are checking in, I think I see Queen Monique. She's like, some of my favorite people.
I see the Laverne say, hey, Tiff, hey, Val, hey, boys, hey, JB. Hey, Tiff, I mean, Laverne, I'm up in here too. You better say what's up to Coach too. Come on now.
Well, wait a minute now. Wait. Now, Lakeisha, that's your girl. You heard her this morning on House of Creativity. She says, "Hey, Queen Val. Hey, Coach Tony."
No,
You know.
I ain't talking. You know, I know Keisha got me. I'm talking about Laverne Chase. Come on now.
Okay. No, oh my gosh. And I didn't
up,
challenge with Tiffany, but it was really helpful. That's what Monique says. So she's talking about the challenge that you have. So now let's talk about the second song that you released, Janita. The second song is called.
So the second song that I released is called Be Different.
Be Different. Aha. There you go.
And that song, I'm telling you, that song, I love that song. I love that song. That song is the same, has the same title of the book Be Different by Leah J. M. Dean. And Leah
okay.
is on, she was on earlier. And as I was looking at writing these songs of empowerment, the Lord had me focusing on Be Different. And you know, Leah knows that the Lord was talking to me, you know, a few years back about embracing my different. And one of the things that the Lord had highlighted was that, you know, that thing about you that is extra. You know, people say, do you have to be so giving? Do you have to be so happy? Do you have to be so this, those positive things? Well, you know, the Lord had told me that that's me amplified in you. That's me amplified in you. So, you know, we're all made in the image and likeness of God, yet the four of us look, you know, very different, right? But we're made in his image and in his likeness. And he said that thing, that standout thing about you, that thing that may, you know, irritate somebody, because do you have to be always smiling all the time? Do you have to be so, yeah, that. Do you have to be a person of excellence? That's daddy amplified in you. And so he said, you know, he gave me a message at that time to embrace your different. Then my sister Leah came out with her book. I've got that in the background. Do you see it? I want to bring it up here.
Yeah, let's see it. Let's bring it to the forefront. There we go.
Cover. Be Different.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I love
different.
it.
Listen purposefully, love courageously, live intentionally. And, you know, Leah talks in this devotional book about how we're to be God's hands on earth, you know, and that that's right. And we have to talk differently and walk differently and love differently and think differently. And so it really was a challenge to be different. And so as we were coming up to her launch day, her pre-launch was on March 3rd. I knew that this was one of the songs that I wanted to write. And I don't know, it was, I felt nervous about this one. I don't know. And Leah is one of my sisters who I share my songs with generally. And I don't know if it was because it was the song that was connected to her book. I was like, So I sent her the lyrics first, and I didn't send her the melody. And she has to, get her ears blessed from time to time, because she's got to listen to the rawness of my music. But I didn't send it to her. Now, I was in Ghana in February, and I came back on the 24th. And just before I came back, I spoke to the producer that I was working with on some other songs. And I said, listen, I wrote this song, and I've been on the fence about it, but God hasn't given me something else. I said, do you think that you can you produce this song for me? And he had to listen to the song, and he says, I love this song. And I said, okay, great. I need it in a week.
Right. You needed that. You don't put a time frame on it.
I needed it in a week. And, we worked together. He got his band and his musicians together. It's so 316 are the producers, and they're also the artist on the song. And I love Be Different. Yeah. So
let's take a listen to the first minute of Be Different. And of course, you are the songwriter on this. This is not your vocals, as you just stated.
That's
But
right.
I say, let's give it a listen. It's Be Different, the second to come out in the Be Empowered series. Here we go. Aha.
Not blend in with the crowd. You are God's hands on earth. Be different. Start now. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, wow. You're significant, magnificent, and know your life is somewhere comes from God above. You're the moon among the stars. Embrace your different, believe in who you are. No one else can be like you. No one else can be like you. You are love. Everything you need is in you. Everything you need is in you. You're in love.
I am in love with the chorus for that particular one.
Oh,
I am
yeah.
in love with that chorus. Tony, I don't know. I heard some old school barbecue. I don't know. Frankie Beverly featuring
It's a
Maze
family affair.
Yes, a family affair or something. I felt that warmness.
It's
Like
my-
I'm
Yes.
different, but I'm gonna go get me a plate. I don't know. That's what I felt.
If this was the old school south side of Chicago backyard barbecue with my old man cooking, and they playing Biz Wiz later on, he already full by the time the car game. Y'all know how they is. You know, Daddy bring the food in. Like, what if he don't want nothing? He ate everything off the grill while he cooked, and the music playing. But I love the beat, the melody, the chorus line, and it brought me a question that either one of you guys can answer. When you're thinking, and Tiffany, you alluded to it, you're running to the bus stop, you're singing lyrics into a phone. Obviously, you're singing with no beats in your head. You kind of got an imaginary beat in your head that you're singing to, and all that. How do you sit down and put that on paper, and then get the exact beat that you need, maybe with some hooks to go with it, to kind of then make the song that you were thinking about?
So, I mean, for me, it just depends on how God gives it, right? I mean, like I said, I try to put all of the extras in it. But I think in reality, every joint supplies. And so he gives me parts, and then I have to get together with a producer and convey to them with my voice note and with any extra things that I say, this is what I want. Usually producers ask you for a reference song. So you give them the song, and then you say, and this is always my challenge because I don't have a song in mind. So then I have to try to go and look for a song or listen to a song to try to think,
Okay.
is it that? So I'm not usually very, good at that, but I try to say, I like this, this is kind of the rhythm, or this is, I heard guitars. I usually try to tell them the instruments that I hear.
Okay.
Or, and I tell them I hear a musical interlude here. So I'm pretty good with doing that. And then I need them to add their gift to the songwriting process, to help to bring it to life.
Okay, good. And Tiffany, I seen you got the guitar. So you're playing. Do you ever find yourself stringing a guitar, playing just a good song, just all melody, no lyrics, and then all of a sudden just start singing through it what you're playing?
All the time. I mean, because I'm also a praise and worship leader as well. So it's something
Okay.
called impromptu, a worship session. So sometimes you could just be in a song and then just wherever like the Holy Spirit will lead you, and you're just worshiping, and it's impromptu, and lyrics can come out of that session, and it's nothing forced. It's not emotional. It's just you're going off of just the leading of wherever the Holy Spirit takes you, and
Right.
it's pretty awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
Val, we can't hear you.
I was just about to say, Valerie, you talking to us, we can't get
Yeah.
nothing.
Oh no, I muted myself, but I didn't mean to do that because I was trying to be respectful so I could heard everyone. But what I will say is that I get it. I understand and vibe with what I was hearing immediately was the guitar and the bass line.
Right.
And then I thought about Tony, I was thinking about, do you remember Slave featuring Steve Arrington?
Come
And a
on,
lot
come
of
on.
their
Let's talk to
music used to have it was a heavy guitar or bass influence, and then of course, yeah,
Right.
dun, 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 dun. Just a touch of love, a little bit. That's what I heard. I heard that in Be Different. Did you hear?
Make me right, just a little bit, just a little bit, with just a touch of love. That was
Can we
it.
spend some? So yeah, anyway, so that song Be Different. What's different about the song? Number one is
Yes.
the lyrics, and then on top of that, just kind of that speaking to the essence of the book written for that was written, and then of course just I don't want to be like everyone else. Like what we do in our culture will, okay, let's go get the job, the regular 9 to 5. We'll go and we'll try to date the same person, or we'll do something else. We'll play the same sports because someone else expected us to play that. But then what's wrong with being different? And then when I heard the chorus, I think it was the third chorus where they said be different, someone kind of went up a little bit and it was a beautiful little blend of a note. And I said, yeah, that's Janita all the way.
Well,
I heard
it's 3:16, but so the opening part, which is me speaking, you are made to stand out, not blend in with the crowd. You are
There you
God's,
go.
you are God's hands on earth. Be different. Start now. And the premise is that we have to do some things differently. And one of my sisters just came back on a plane, and she gave an example in the chat that I was in. She was saying that she was on the plane, and she's blind, and so she was in the seat. She said the person in the seat, not next to her, but one over, but in her same row, was coughing. And really kind of hacking. And so her first thought was, oh my gosh, I don't want this person, sitting next to me, whatever. And then she said, the Holy Spirit said, have compassion on this person, right? Mm-hmm. And so what she did was she started to pray for the person, and then she asked the person, could she pray for them? She, asked the stewardess, because the person was an elderly person, she would have discovered, through the conversation. And so just by being different, many of us would be on that, and like we don't want to be inconvenienced, or we don't want to sit next to the child crying, or we don't want to sit next to the person who's sick. But that was an opportunity to do something different. To be different. That was an opportunity to be God's hands on earth for that sister in need. She didn't want to be on a plane sick either,
right?
But she had to be on there. And so it was a real life moment. And so, these are some of the stories that that was a story just of traveling back that one of my sisters just shared. But this is the things that you will hear in the devotional experience. And I'm excited. Like this is the first time I have, kind of partnered in this way. But to have a song that amplifies the book. So you read it, and then you're there, and it's like when you feel the familiar rising up, and you need to be different, you can kind of put on the song. be different. You know, you can kind of
Mhm.
get your groove to get that into your spirit that it's time for me to be different, to walk differently. So, amen.
And
I
Jennifer
like
said
that.
that the Holy Spirit frequency is never wrong.
Never wrong.
That's
Never
right, Jennifer.
wrong.
No,
Yeah,
it's not.
that's what I was asking Tiffany. You know, Val kind of alluded to that right on point. Do you tend to sometimes? Because I do it all the time. I DJ and do different things. You know, I've been working with JB. I'm gonna get that house that, but I put songs on, and then I imagine the song that I want to sing that's in my head. What would it sound like on this track? You know,
Mm.
and you remember remember Tracy Chapman?
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, Trace was famous for the guitar and just stopped blowing, right?
Mhm.
So when you're looking at that, Tiffany, and you just mentioned a moment ago, you do that all the time. You know, what comes to mind? Do you sometimes think of, okay, I got this old school 1970s song in my head. I'm going to play it on the guitar. And if this person doesn't realize what I'm saying, I'm going to start singing. And then all of a sudden you kind of go from there. What's the process, you know, while you're playing that you go through in terms of making your songs?
In terms of making my original songs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the original song, like taking the day you took the baby girl to the bus stop and running, and it was raining hard. You had to get back to the house. And you was singing on the phone, and then you
Uh-huh.
turned that situation into, okay, let me listen to what I just did because I was rushing to the bus stop, and let me put my thoughts together. Let me get everything together. Let me gather myself, and then I'm
Okay.
gonna put the guitar up, and I'm gonna put the guitar to what I just ran to the bus stop. How does that all come together?
Oh, well, I hear what Janita is saying too. Like it's like it's not like an island for me. I need a team. So
Mhm.
like
Okay,
in order
all
to
right.
bring it all together and make it more than what I see and like perfect it, I would need a producer, because sometimes a producer can make it like more fine tuned, or like, you know what, I hear it, but how about we try this to maybe that harmony right that you hear right there, it might fit better here. So like I'll take what I have and then I'll bring it to my team or a person that I've always worked with, and I'll say, here, this is what I have. Now what do you think? What do you hear? And sometimes they like it, and then sometimes they're like, you know what, I like it, but we can elevate it, and here's how. So I
Okay.
always work with 2 or 3 people to bring the whole vision together. You know,
Cool. Okay.
I'm totally about the collaboration process.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because that leads to one of my next questions, and something I know based on our interview with you, Janita, in the House of Creativity in I think it was Friday on March 7th when we premiered Rare. You said that you went to, I think, 4 different either countries or continents to either record or produce the 4 songs that we're having access to tonight.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm,
Wow.
mm,
So Rare was produced in Nigeria. And
mm.
in
Okay.
February, I went to Nigeria to sing that one. Um, Bloom or Be Different was produced in Ghana.
Mm.
So I shared that I was in Ghana. And so when I was in Ghana with the producer, I had a listen, and that was produced in Ghana with 316. Bloom, which is the next song, that was produced in London. And then the final song, Thrive, was produced in the US of A.
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We got a question on the floor for both of you guys from Liv. She said, ladies, for both of you guys are unexpected. What are some of the unexpected experiences or the lessons that God has tonight for your thoughts, you know, on your journey? What are some of the differences that you guys have gone through?
That question, you mean, what are some of the unexpected experiences or lessons God has taught you through the journey that
Right.
you'd want to share with women this month, especially because it's Women's History Month? Anyone could answer that question, Janita or Tiffany. Thank you, Leah, for that question.
How about you, Janita? This is your. This is on
Well,
you.
I mean, this whole gift has been unexpected, right? And I think this whole process, I was a lawyer when I got this gift of songwriting. I had actually just put my notice in at my job because I felt the Lord had told me to. I was pausing and pivoting and reassessing purpose. And 2 weeks after that, I started to hear songs. And my expectation when I left my job was that I was just pausing from that, but I would re-enter the legal profession.
Right.
And but then I got this unexpected gift. And as I journeyed through that year, which was the year of COVID, I shared the songs, and my friends started to say, Janita, you like this, these are real songs, as I started to share them more and more. And I recognized that the Lord was doing something different in my life. And I recognized that I was given these talents, and I was taken to the story of the talent, and that the Lord expected a return from them. And so I was then in this sort of quandary of, well, what do I do? Because I'm a lawyer, and I've now got this gift of songwriting. And, as I was walking through, initially friends and family were not that supportive, And so, because there's a hierarchy in some people's minds of professions, doctors, lawyers, accountants, blah, blah. And songwriting, or songwriter or artist isn't in that sort of upper echelon. And so when people would say, oh, yes, songwriter, and then they would catch themselves, because obviously I'm right here, and then, oh, whatever makes you happy, yep, girl, you should do that. But I looked at it as a real opportunity, and to be God's scribe, which I thought was, wow, that is just like, God, you wanna work through me and use me to be your scribe. And it's also a real opportunity on walking by faith. This is where I would always talk about being a woman of faith, and talk about what God can do. Now I had to put my words to the test. And so I say that to Leah and to other women, that I'm walking on water and following the crumbs. And I would say to you, continue to look up. If God has called you to step out of that boat and onto the water, like Peter, all you have to do is keep looking up.
I like that.
Moving forward. And so, so these are the experiences. And through this music, it has brought so many different people joy. I support a school and orphanage in Ghana. And when I went down back to Ghana in 2022, the director of the school says, I want you to direct a choir. And I'm like, I'm a songwriter. I'm not a choir director. She says, well, that's what you have to do. And the music, Coach Tony, it brought so much joy to the children. There was an unexpected song that I had gotten just before I got there. And that was, the children loved that song, Jesus is the Champion. And they were the first to bring this song to life. There's now a music video with them violently dancing to that song. And it's just been a life changer and a game changer for them, for me. So yeah, I would say it's just been a blessing.
That's awesome.
Blessing. And I would just say, step out of the boat, step out of the boat, step out of the boat. Where he guides, he will provide.
And they always say, well, get out your own way, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would just quickly say, briefly, never mind. We're sharing something.
Oh no, go ahead.
Come on, Tiff. I got you what you said. Yeah, she got them dancing out there on the ocean. I see.
Just briefly that I concur, stepping out of the boat. This faith walk is not linear. The Lord, he will bring you to it. He will not give you step by step. This is what you do next. This is what you do. He will open a door, but it's all about faith. The Bible talks about like whatsoever is not of faith is of sin. So like I agree, stepping outside of that boat, and it takes a lot of courage to do so, but we all have it because he put it inside of us. And I'm not going to say it's always going to be easy, but it is there. If he's living in us, it's there. And so stepping outside of that boat is definitely non-negotiable. And in order to move forward and to progress forward, we have to step outside of that boat. And that's what I would say, that lessons that I have learned of going through experiences and the Lord challenging me to move forward and to think bigger, believe bigger, to thrive. Those are those things that I have to do, step outside that boat.
Man, that's awesome. And Monique, Lisa says, when you're looking at what both of you guys are saying, she says all truth. Many feel that being a musician is mostly a poor man's occupation, but a musician, especially gospel rappers or anything of that nature, sanctioned. She said she's got more than 16 years of just doing theater and things of that nature. So you got to stay in the moment. And so when you, like you just said, when you step outside of something that you don't normally do, and JB, you said it, sometimes you may feel something that you're thinking about internally, and all of a sudden you step outside and say, I'm going to challenge myself to do something different. Because, a lot of people don't realize, and I'll laugh. You make an album, you got what, 8, 10, 12 tracks on an album?
Yeah.
Right? So it's not like you can't come with the same freaking beat or same cadence on everything. You got to think of something different to give the people something completely different, because one song I may like and another song I'm not going to listen to, and another song I'm never going to take off my radio, right?
Right. Yes.
And music is very subjective, and that's that's the beauty of it. And sometimes, depending on where you are in your life, the songs will speak to you, speak to you differently.
That's right.
Be more impactful depending on what season you're in, but it certainly is a powerful tool. And if you read the book of Psalms, those are songs, and aren't the Psalms so beautiful?
Oh, I love it. I was telling somebody about your name. I said, JB Songs, just pick up songs, start reading. You're gonna get everything.
So let me jump to the third song that was released, and this is Bloom, featuring Bobby Little. What can you tell us about this song, Janita?
So Bloom is one of those. It's a real different song, and sometimes he gives it, and because these are songs for daddy's daughters, well, we're all different, right? We have different life, and so this one I heard guitars. I heard when I had to get the music in, I kind of I try to find music. I was doing kind of some Google searches for guitars because I knew what I was hearing, and so it was kind of like En Vogue, Free Your Mind. I don't know if you remember that song.
Oh, I remember that.
Free Your Mind and the rest will follow. Come on now.
Yeah. So that was, after I was working with Chris Riley, who is the producer of this one, and just trying to say, I want this guitar. I wanted, I wanted some soulful, but I want some kind of rock, And so Bloom was that. But the first thing I heard when I got Bloom was Bloom, Bloom. So that is what you hear in the beginning. And it's time to open up and step it up and let your diamond shine. And so that one came. My sister Gina Cummings from Barbados was having a conference, and for Women's International a weekend for International Women's Weekend, and her theme was Bloom Together. And
Oh, wow.
I Bloom was again something that the Lord had been, previously talking to me about, blooming where you're planted, and He had given me, a little poem I had written, and so I was in that bloom, and so this is what came forth. I connected with Chris in the UK, and yeah, I
So
said
this was
I
this
gotta-
was recorded. This was recorded in the UK,
this was recorded.
and this song is called "Bloom." Let's take a listen.
Bloom, 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 bloom. It's time to open up and step it up. Bloom. It's time to let your diamond shine. Come on and bloom. It's time to celebrate and take the stage. Bloom. It's time to let your voice be heard. Ladies all around the world, visionary, luminary, fine like pearls. Ladies planted everywhere, creative, academic, shifting atmospheres. Bloom, speak your mind, let your knowledge overflow, impact mankind. Bloom, let your colors show, own the room that's made for you. Now let the whole world know that you're in bloom. It's time to open up and step it up. Bloom. It's time to let your diamond shine. Come on and bloom. It's time to celebrate and take the stage. Bloom. It's time to let your voice be heard.
Oh, now that
Man.
is, yeah, Tony, what you think about that?
I'm feeling some West Coast Warren G, Snoop on the collab, on the break. Bloom and Snoop got on that track. It's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? Not Kirk Franklin, because Kirk want to talk. Kirk gonna, what I said, get the bloom. I said the bloom, you're gonna get it, go over the flop. Snoop gonna lay back, hit that West Coast. Warren G gonna hit that West Coast, let you bloom. Let you boom, and they gonna just ride out to that. I like
I
that.
don't know if Snoop is talking about the type of bloom that Janita is talking about. He might be talking about a different thing altogether. It's all
right.
good. It's
But
all
when
good.
Snoop hit the track, let Snoop bloom. Pass, better bloom. You know what I'm saying?
I
We
got
trying to tell
nothing, I have nothing good to say after that. Okay, we gotta move on. Let's move on. Oh my gosh! So Bobby Little's vocals on this is very good. I like. What did I hear? Oh, let your colors show. Speak your mind. I'm saying I'm a little out of order, but I like the cadence leading up to the chorus, and just kind of that your it's now time to bloom, and then it goes right into the chorus. So it's I guess if you've been sitting on an idea, for myself, I've been sitting on a screenplay for over 20 years. It's time for it to bloom. If you have a book inside of you and you need to write it and let the masses know what you've been doing, it's time to bloom. If you have a song in your heart and you want to get it and sing it out to the masses, trust God and bloom. Yeah,
we gonna get my fans and them with JB, and we gonna put this on a house track. We gonna bloom. That's what I'm saying.
My man's and them is not a real situation. Oh my goodness.
But yes, it is. And this again is a download from the Lord. And so when you think about the pre-chorus and the different types of women, I knew it was obviously a conference, but talking about creatives, academics, shifting atmospheres. But the pre-chorus, bloom, speak your mind, let your knowledge overflow, impact mankind. Bloom, let your colors show, own the room, there's space for you. Now let the whole world know that you're in bloom.
That's
I want everyone to know that there's space for you. There's a place for you. There is space for you in the room. And so it's time to step forward. It's time to bloom. bloom where you're planted. Bloom even in dry conditions. My god sister Onika, her books back there, Not Today Negativity, just did a post today talking about the desert rose, how even in
Oh,
dry
wow.
situations, even with dry branches, it blooms. You can bloom even when it seems like you're in a dry situation, right? Where it seems that you can bloom. There is growth, there is something. And sometimes we think we have to have it all, but just bloom. Just
You know,
bloom where
it,
you are.
I got a question for you guys. So I know Tiffany, you mentioned a moment ago, it hit you. I know JB said it hit you. Music with a lot of people that don't know, and I only pay attention to it, and I'm sure Val does it because I'm a DJ. But when you're listening to the beats per minute, um, what's in your mind? Are you saying that I need a track that's going to run about a 123 BPMs, 115, 110? When you're making the music that you make, are you also looking at the opposite side of the track? That, okay, when I have someone listen to this track, are they going to bob their heads like we listen on Bloom? Are they going to lay back and chill? Are they going to, it's something that they can just be mellow to? What's the process of when you put those tracks together, when you're thinking about the BPMs and you think about the people that's going to hear it?
So for me, I'm not on the technical so much on the BPMs, although sometimes I do. When I'm doing my own voice note, I might say, okay, that's a little bit too slow. I know the feel of the song that I want to get, coach. And so sometimes
Okay.
I might put it through and do the BPMs. But again, that's where my producer will come in, and we may go back and forth, may give me like, let's speed it up.
Yeah.
Let's, sometimes let's rearrange the chorus. We're coming right in, on the chorus, or we're gonna come in on the verse because we want to support, we want to support. But yes, I usually know if it's upbeat, if it's mellow, if it's the type of expression you want to invoke from your listener. But again, music is subjective. But yes, this one is supposed to be usually it's supposed to be, yes, one that you want to sing to, but one that you also want to move to, own
Yeah.
the room, there's space for you now, let the world know that you're in, you're
Right.
like, it's like one of those ones. So yeah.
And what
Yeah,
about you, Tiff?
for me, it's the feeling. It's all about the vibe, the feeling that that comes across. That the beats per minute is very important, but I guess when it all comes together, the best way that I can describe it's the feeling. That's the best way that I could describe it. It's a feeling. You have to feel it. It has to speak to your soul. It has to speak to you. If it doesn't speak to you, you don't have it yet. That's
Okay.
as a musician, as a creative. That's just my opinion. Again, it's subjective. Someone else might disagree with me, but that feeling. I've been in many studio sessions, and some other person may disagree with me, but the feeling has to be there. Has to be that feeling, that vibe, and then it's like you just coast along. Yeah.
Val, you're muted.
Muted again, Val.
So I think what we're gonna do again now is to premiere the song that both you, JB, and Tiffany are a part of, and it's called Thrive. Now, how did the phone conversation go, Janita, when you thought of another vocalist to be on this song? What were you thinking? Did you say, I'm thinking of Tiffany, or who did you have in mind initially?
I didn't have anyone in mind when I wrote the song. When I written the song, I didn't even know Tiffany.
Mm.
Oh, wow.
Tiffany, but Tiffany was a singer of almost one of my first songs, not my very first, but as we both are in the lemonade stand, and as I started to get my teeth wet on writing some of the jingles for the lemonade stand, Tiffany was the singer. And I was able to hear what she could do with her voice. And I knew that she was serious about her craft. And so when I did have to think about a singer for Thrive, you know, I approached her and she said, yeah, I'm on Team Janita. I will do it. And you know, this is a special song because, you know, Tiffany took it. I think I gave her my original voice note because remember, it's sometimes it's hard for singers to. She's singing an original song that's never been sung before, other than my little broken voice note that I'm sending to her. I don't even think I had the music to. I might have had the music. Yeah, I think I gave her it with the music. And I said, you know, I want you to bring this song to life. And she said she would do her best. And we went through. We did a first take, and she came back, and I said, a couple of little, you know, I generally like it, but I've got a couple little areas here. And Tiffany took those notes, and she said, yep, it was a little flat here or diff. We're going to go back. And let me tell you, this girl went back in that studio and killed this thing. Killed her!
That's how you're supposed to do. If I'm on your track, I'm trying to kill you. I'm on your track. I'm trying to do better than you were doing. And if I do, that way I know the track's going to be a hit.
But listen, you know, because you work with singers sometimes and they don't always take constructive criticism or they, but Tiffany looked at the note. She was like, nope, yeah. Oh, I attempted to. I didn't want that to happen, but let me go back. And she went back and nailed this thing. So she did the lead and some of the background vocals. And then I said, okay, I need to really get a team of background vocalists in. I knew what I wanted. I needed to get a team in. And so I spoke to my people in Ghana, and I said, listen, I need you guys to come in and help to enhance this. And now I had a rap part in there, right? I had a rap part in there. Old school, Coach Tony. I was, you know,
I told you, Val. I told you, Val.
But that's what, and so Thrive was first released really, it was a live performance at Dr. Crystal Clay's conference. She had a retreat in Florida. And so that was ministered live at the conference. And I did the rap, and you know, it was good. But I said, listen, we gotta take this thing up. We had to take this thing up. And so Queen Mo was talking about how gospel rap sustained her for 16 years. So I reached out, I said, Queen Mo, I need you to come in and help me out on the rap. But Queen Mo, she was engaged at the time, right? She couldn't get
busy.
So Delano was using his equipment for the studio. So but I love Queen Mo because she sent me a voice note. I sent it to the producer. He said it's good, but it's not, it has to be done in a studio with the proper mic in order for us to get the quality that we needed, right? So then I said, when I had said to the Lord that in 2024, I said to the Lord, okay, I'm going to earn that I'm a singer-songwriter. I went to New Orleans to an independent award show, the Avidity Awards. And while I was there, I met a rapper called Miss Chosen, and we exchanged details. And she had performed at like sort of the pre-show. And so I said, let me reach out to Miss Chosen and see what she can do. And Miss Chosen came, fire, laid it down. I gave her my thing. She's like, no, sis. We gotta take this thing up. We gotta bring it in. And so I am loving Thrive. And so Thrive is still in the process of being finally mixed and mastered. It's going live on Friday on our YouTube page, and then it will be on all distribution channels on Monday. But we still have a mix and master to share with your our listening audience today. So you are the first to get a sneak peek.
I just want to make sure I got it because I need to throw it in my genre with my DJ, and that's why that's the reason why I was asking you and Tiffany that question, because, I could see that track being sped up. And I like it how you were saying it, but I can also see that track being sped up by like 8, 9, 10 beats, which you really getting your workout, getting your fitness on, your groove on, something like that, because it's already upbeat, it's already hitting you, and then you already got something.
We can have a rare remix, Be Different remix, Bloom remix, Thrive remix.
Yes.
That's the beauty of music, right? We can do whatever we want to with the songs. But Val, I'm gonna allow you to give us a minute. First time ever heard. I don't even know if Tiffany's actually listened to.
Not the new one. Not
listen to it. So yeah, here we go.
All right. Well, this is a world premiere for Interludes Extra Talk on Tuesday. It's called Thrive.
New day is dawning, it's calling my name. I'm stepping forward, I'm taking the stage. No limited thinking, yes, I'm flying free. Ready to thrive and be me. I was created to thrive, thrive, thrive. Created to thrive, thrive, thrive. Created to thrive, thrive, thrive. Created to thrive. I was created to thrive, thrive, thrive. Created to thrive, thrive, thrive. Created to thrive, thrive, thrive. Created to thrive. Soaring high above failure, setbacks and mess. Embracing my greatness, declaring I'm blessed. No limits, no boundaries, my adversity is the fire that now fuels me. Created to thrive, thrive, thrive. I was created to thrive, created to thrive. I was created to thrive. Thrive, thrive, created to thrive, thrive, created to thrive, created to thrive.
We'll leave it right there. Oh my God.
That is most definitely that is a Kirk Franklin collabo if I heard one.
And we got,
that's just thrive. Kirk gonna get out and go crazy.
So did I hear the chorus right? I was created to thrive, and then the other part was what's the other part?
I was created to thrive.
It's for the chorus. Just I was created to thrive.
I was created to thrive.
Yeah, because I think that we sometimes we don't know. We think that struggle is normal, especially if you're a believer. Like that's a horrible, frame set of thinking. Oh, people that have money, they're evil. So if I'm struggling, or if I'm, scrimping and scraping, if I'm doing the good times, there was never no good times on that sitcom. I'll just put it out there. But all I know is
there was a couple good times on there.
No. But all I know is that I know that I was created not just to live or to survive. I was created to thrive. And this is a wonderful reminder. Coach Tony, don't you want your athletes to thrive and not just be an athlete and just put the ball through the hoop or they don't really care about putting it through? Aren't thriving athletes much better than someone that's just, I don't know, playing the game nonchalantly with no fervor or no life?
Yeah, I mean, you guys would be amazed how many athletes that are actually into Christian music and do different things of that nature. And this is that type of song that I could easily put on before pregame.
That's right.
When I walk in, and I tell my athletes, it's funny that you mentioned that, Val. I tell them all the time, get into game mode, whatever that may be, whether it's a gospel song, country song, a book, the Bible, whatever it is. Get into game mode and do not let anyone take you out of the game mode from the moment you start until the buzzer goes off. So I could hear Tiff and JB singing a song to a particular athlete and tell them, hey, you were made to thrive. You were positioned to thrive. The game tonight, when that ball goes up in the air, you're going to win because God's already told you that you're going to thrive. I can see that, and I can see that particular person. Someone like if you guys know Kawhi Leonard, who played for the Los Angeles Clippers, very much into the spiritual note. I can see someone like that, like a Chris Paul, and you play music for these spiritual NBA guys, or someone like that could simply uplift them going into a particular game. I can see that.
So, I mean, I want to give honor to Dr. Crystal Clay. So this is the book, Thrive in True Identity. Can you see it?
We can see it now.
Yeah. 31 Days for Women to be Empowered by the Word. And so Crystal wrote this book and delivered it every day for 31 days. She was writing the book. Daily, the Lord was giving her this book. And it didn't start out as a book. It just started out as a Bible study. And at her first year anniversary, we were talking. We were on the Zoom. We did it virtually, and she said, "I need a song for this book," and I wrote a song based on that. And so, I want to read. There we go. Thank you, Val. Whether we have a surviving or a thriving mindset largely depends on what we believe about ourselves. Based on Ephesians 2:10, Thrive in True Identity is a 31-day journey of exploration and discovery, which provides a blueprint for addressing the issues that keep us in survival mode. In this book, you will examine the factors that distort your vision, understand realities that shape your identity, and uncover truths that empower you to thrive. And so I say about this book is that this is a book you need to read like every 6 months. It deals with so many things. We go to the dentist, or we should go to the dentist every 6 months to get our teeth cleaned and checked up, because the reality is that we brush good for the first month after we go to the dentist, and we're flossing, and then we fall off. We fall off. And we got to get back in. And so it's the same thing, that we start to believe stuff, and then we fall off. We get into that imposter syndrome. We get into this, this season of doubt. And so we need to remember our true identity, that we were created to thrive. And so that is what the lyrics in this song say. And so, Coach Tony, you're talking about the game, soaring high above failure, setbacks, and mess, embracing my greatness, declaring I'm blessed. No limits, no boundaries. My adversity is the fire that now fuels me. We've got to use those setbacks and all of those things to fuel us into our comeback. A setback is a setup for a comeback. And
what?
We use that setback to fuel us to go forward. I was created to thrive. So it is, really,
I need those lyrics. I need that song, and I need that lyric. And I need one more thing. Since she talks about the 31 days, I want to know if she could write me a book called 32 Days of How to Stay Ahead.
And I think Dr. Crystal Clay is in the listening on.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
That's the back cover. That's a back cover of her book, Tony. And it's like, I like this: overcome self-limiting beliefs and be empowered to conquer your fears, understand the impact of imposter syndrome, and be confident in your God-given gifts. So I have to say, you guys, I'll go ahead and place the link in the chat for this particular book, but thank you so very much. And like I said, Janita, thank you. And thank you, Tiffany, for using your God-given gifts to encourage and empower the masses. I'm glad this was a wonderful listening I call it a listening session. I think we should have more of these, but I feel so very honored that you allowed both myself and Coach Tony to premiere your music and to celebrate what has already been released. Coach, you feel honored? You feel blessed? You feel
You know, the thing I was going to tell you guys, and you'll love this spiritually. So I coach at an all-girls Catholic school, and a couple of weeks ago, I was telling Val that I was given an assignment to speak to the girls, knocked it out the park, and they talked about John in 1 Corinthians 9:24, run as to win, meaning that there is a race that needs to be had, and we all start the race, and we all run. But at the end of the race, there's only one medal to be given out. So you either can run or you can run as to win. And so when you just talked about that, JB, I could see that message to a young athlete. I could see that athlete going into that locker room, listening to that song, listening to the message, and going out on the floor and say, hey, you know something, win, lose, or draw, God has me. You know, because it's funny. When you listening, and right now we got the biggest sports going on right now in the world, and that's March Madness. But when you listen to these kids, they bring up after the game, and they said, you know, who do you want to give thanks to? What's the first thing they say? I want to give thanks to Almighty God. You know, without him, none of this is possible. And then they go from there. You know, what if they had said, hey, I would give thanks to Almighty God, but at the same time, I was listening to this song called Thrive. And before the game, I put myself in the song, and I came out today, and that's exactly what I did. Come on, you know, I could see that. That is the, you know, the big picture that's been painted, and that you guys on the collab with that, that's awesome. I like that.
Yeah, it is. It's wonderful. It's really, really wonderful, and that's the beauty of songs. And so, Coach Tony, I really want to encourage you to take these songs to your school. You know, so that these girls can listen to these songs. One of the things that I'm doing this year, you know, as a gift, I'm so grateful for the gift of life and for living, you know, for 50 years. I'm giving God thanks. And so I've done a bracelet up. You may not be able to see, but it says, I'm rare, uncommon, and unique. And wherever I go, you know, handing out these bracelets to people as a reminder that they are rare. So when they look down at their wrist on the days that they don't feel like it, they have something that they can look at, and it says that I'm rare. They have something that they can listen to and says that that they're rare. When they listen to Be Different, they can listen to the song, but they can also get a book which talks about being different. You know, when they feel like they're dry, and you know, and they're with it, they can know, listen, I gotta bloom. Yeah. You know, they can get, you know, they can get themselves powered up, and then finally they can listen to Tiffany Michelle Thompson telling them that they were created to thrive.
Oh, that's awesome.
Survival mode, that they were created to thrive, and it's time to make a shift. And they can get Dr. Crystal Clay's book and read all about it and get back. So you know, it's right here.
Yep. I need 50 of those wristbands. I'm telling you right now, I need 50 of them. I got 48 girls that play ball for me, including my staff. And I think that would be a perfect thing to have my girls walk around in all girls Catholic school wearing a wristband that says I'm rare. And they would be in what I consider an exclusive club, because not all girls on the campus would have this. So therefore, someone throughout their day is going to ask them, what does that mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they can be an advocate to share. So definitely I will send you those. Val, please get me Coach Tony's address, and I will get those over to you.
Well, we're out of time, unfortunately, but we wanted to make sure that you guys know the 4 singles that have come out, produced, and I call it God breathed by JB Psalms. It is Rare, Be Different, Bloom, and Thrive is coming out this Friday on March 28th. We got a little preview of it, so you guys can check it out. And I want to personally thank both Tiffany and Janita for coming here and doing our thing. Janita, if you could put the artist's name of the person that does Be Different. She has a book that's available on Amazon. That'd be great. And so we're just excited. Tiffany, Michelle, Thompson. I got all the words in. I have to make sure to do
call you by your government name.
And Tony, she's an actress that has been on Law and Order and a few other places too. So
I'm telling you, I think that's my kin folks. I'm telling you, I'm going to do. Hey, I know. Hey, here's one thing for sure. I can't check out 23andMe no more.
Oh Lord. As we wrap up our Women's History Month, we're excited. We hope that we have empowered you to thrive. But most importantly, we want to let you guys know A DJ Saved My Life. It is the new book from yourself, yours truly, Val the Voice Johnson. If you'd like to go ahead and get a copy of the book, you go ahead and go to purelightHousemedia.com, our brand new website. And we're excited that you guys can do that as well. And of course, our Patreon. We got our first couple of paying Patreons. We're so excited that you're joining us. So you'll see some behind the scenes and some of my comedy routines on patreon.com/interludes. And then, of course, our affiliate sponsor, Key Spot. Connect, share, and grow. If you have a small business you're trying to grow, do it with our affiliate sponsor, Cynthia McAllister, who designed our brand new website, purelightHousemedia.com. And then, of course, go check them out at keyspot.app.com/free to try them out. Oh my goodness, Coach Tony, it has been a blast. And we have had a wonderful time with the ladies, and I feel empowered. Do you feel empowered? I think all of us feel empowered. Is that about right?
I'm full right now.
That is phenomenal. That's phenomenal. We want to make sure the name is Leah Dean. Be Different. Check her out on Amazon.com and pick up her book. I love the song written for her.
I love that. There's a lot of promotion tonight.
Exactly.
JB, we're going to connect on a couple levels. And Tiff, I got to definitely have you in there because Val think I'm tripping. I'm telling you right now.
There is no man's in them book.
Hey, listen, I wrote that. I don't know, Tiffany, I don't know if you and JB checked out the Pull Up Podcast show. Everyone loves the beat and all that. I actually wrote the song to the track. And I told Val, I'm slowly writing this together for my mans and them as a house song track, but I have to put it together. I'm thinking about some different ways I want to do it. And the thing is, I need someone like a woman's voice that really can throw the thing over the top. But we're gonna take this off the air. We're gonna talk about it.
Absolutely.
Well, I just want to remind you, Coach.
Val, you know what we're gonna do, Val?
Wait, Coach.
Hey, we're gonna release it and introduce it on Interlude. We're gonna drop the single on the show, Val.
Okay, I know. People on the East Coast and the Atlantic Coast, which means it's much later than 9:30. We are 9:45. I love y'all. We'll be back. I'll see y'all soon. We're out. Peace.